Hey guys, in this video, I will be talking about how Baizhu, together with Nahida, unlocks Super Dendro Team Comps that enables you to main any character as your main DPS. I will also show you the best Baizhu, Nahida, and Nilou and Kaveh's team comps to help you decide which character you should pull in patch 3.6 and which team composition you should prepare, according to your preferred playstyle. To properly compose a Super Dendro team, we should understand first the similarities and differences between Nahida and Baizhu. Baizhu and Nahida are the key characters that complete each other and can make your Dendro team powerful. In the first part, Nahida provides a great amount of off-field damage through her elemental skill, while Baizhu, he can provide good amount of AoE physical damage through his ocean-hued clam artifact set. In the second part, Nahida can apply Dendro to all enemies in sight using her skill, but the skill cannot apply Dendro to new enemies that are spawned after. With Baizhu, his burst can continuously apply Dendro to nearby enemy, albeit with smaller splash AoE. This part is critical for building a team for characters that cannot swap back and forth easily, like Cyno, for example. So with this alone, we can already see that Baizhu is great for supporting Cyno, because Cyno can keep attacking newly spawned enemy, while Baizhu keeps applying Dendro to that newly spawned enemy. In the third part, Nahida doesn't have the ability to heal, while Baizhu, he is an excellent team healer that can heal all characters at once every 10 seconds using his skill, and can heal the active character using his burst for up to 14 seconds. Baizhu also generates mini shields that can provide some level of interrupt resist. And the best thing about his healing is that it is attached to the active character, so you don't need to be around something like Kokomi's jellyfish or Bennett's circle. Also, you don't need to do some actions to heal, like Kokomi's and Yao Yao's burst, or Barbara's skill that can cause DPS loss while doing so. With this, we can see that Baizhu is a great healer that enables your main DPS to move around freely. And in the last part, Nahida's elemental burst buffs the active character within her dome with up to 250 EM, thus increasing the damage of any elemental reaction your active character triggers. While Baizhu, his elemental burst buffs the active character for up to 100% bloom-related reaction damage, or up to 40% spread and aggravate reaction damage, provided he has 50k max HP. If you look at this chart, even though they use different routes to buff your active character, you can see that both Baizhu and Nahida's buffs achieved similar results there. With 706 EM on the active character, Baizhu's 100% Dendro reaction damage bonus, and Nahida's 250 EM bonus achieved exactly the same damage bonus. With lesser EM, however, Nahida buffs the active character better than Baizhu, and with higher EM on the active character, Baizhu buffs them better than Nahida. With both in the same team, they can buff Dendro reaction damage massively. And this is why Baizhu is a character that you should not skip, especially if you already have Nahida in your account. Now here is the important part, since Baizhu buffs the active character's reaction damage directly, not through EM. This means EM-based characters such as Alhaitham gets lesser benefit from Baizhu than from Nahida. With Nahida, Alhaitham gets an increased Dendro damage through the 250 EM boost, and also gets an increased reaction damage because of that. So, he gets the double benefits from Nahida than Baizhu, which only gives him the increased reaction damage. Furthermore, in an Alhaitham Hyperbloom team comp, where the reaction damage comes from the electro triggering the Dendro cores, this means Baizhu cannot even buff the reaction damage if Alhaitham is being used as the main DPS. So, if you want to compose a Hyperbloom team comp with Baizhu, you should use the Electro character as the main DPS instead to fully utilize Baizhu's buff. Now this again screams Cyno, although you can use any Electro character you like Ketching, Raiden, Miko, or even Lisa as the main driver. And with Electro as your main driver, both Baizhu and Nahida can buff the Hyperbloom damage to the max, resulting in a very powerful Hyperbloom team. So after all of this, we can see that a team with Baizhu, Nahida, any Electro main DPS, and Xingqiu or Yalan for the Hydro applicator will be great in patch 3.6. You can also use Pyro main DPS instead of Electro, and produce Burgeon reactions instead. Burgeon damage is exactly the same as Hyperbloom damage, so it should be as good as Hyperbloom Team Comps. With Nilou as the main DPS and Yelan as the Hydro Applicator, you can play an explosive Nilou Superbloom team. The great thing about Baizhu and Yelan in this Nilou Superbloom team comp is that they are all HP based, so all of them gets the benefit of 25% max HP bonus from the Hydro Resonance. If you don't have Yelan, you can always use Xingqiu for the Hydro Applicator. Also, with Baizhu as the healer, Nilou can comfortably be the main DPS, utilizing her raw Hydro damage without worrying of dying. And with the upcoming HP artifact set that were supposedly created for Dehya, Nilou can deal even more damage using that set, because of how Dendro cores keep damaging her on field. And thanks to the weak shield that Baizhu provides, it can still penetrate the shield and trigger the sweet damage bonus from the artifact set. I'm now pretty sure this is why Baiju's shield was designed with weak power. For Nilou's build, she should be equipped with full HP main stats and an Iron Sting as her weapon. Baizhu should be equipped with a 4-piece ocean-hued clam artifact set with ER Sands, HP Goblet, and HP Circlet. If you don't have problem with the energy regeneration, you can go full HP with an HP Sands instead. For the weapon, Baizhu should use the prototype Amber for more energy regeneration, because his heal and buff depends on his elemental burst. Again, if you don't have problem with the energy regeneration, you can use Thrilling Tales book instead, to buff your main DPS with 48% extra attack. For Nahida, she should be equipped with a 4-piece Deepwood Memories artifact set, with full EM main stats and magic guide for the weapon. You can also use Sacrificial Fragments for more EM, in case you're using ER Sands instead of EM. For Xingqiu, he should be equipped with a 4-piece emblem set with ER Sands, Hydro Goblet, and Crit Circlet, using Sacrificial Sword at Refinement rank 4 or above, or Favonius Sword. Same for Yelan, she should be equipped with a 4-piece emblem set with ER Sands, Hydro Goblet, and Crit Circlet, using Sacrificial Bow or Favonius Warbow. You can replace the ER Sands with HP Sands if you need more damage, but since her role is to apply Hydro, I think it's better to stay with ER Sands for consistency instead. For the main DPS, he or she should be equipped with full EM artifact set and an EM weapon. Basically, the more EM, the more DPS your Super Dendro team can deal. So at this point, we already have 4 types of Super Dendro Team Comps with Nahida and Baizhu in the same team. And as you can see, Yelan or Xingqiu are both needed for this Super Dendro Team Comps. So I really recommend you guys to save for another Yelan rerun after pulling for Nahida and Baizhu. And as for Xingqiu, I recommend you guys to get him at C6, so keep an eye on banners that have him in the future, and also from the Paimon shop that appears twice a year. And if you want to use Dendro main DPS such as Alhaitham, Tignari, or the upcoming Kaveh with Baizhu and Nahida, you can bring an Electro sub DPS such as Ye Miko or Fischl, and play a Quicken Team comp instead. You can also bring an Electro main DPS instead of Dendro, and it still would work great with Nahida and Baizhu. Now what if you can't pull for both? What are the best team comps for Baizhu? And what are the best team comps for Nahida? Who should you pull first in the patch 3.6, Baizhu or Nahida? The answer is it depends on your preferred playstyle and your current favorite character. If you're planning on using Alhaitham as your main DPS, then Nahida is your perfect choice. This is because Nahida's 250 EM buff greatly increases Alhaitham's DPS, while Baizhu cannot. If you have Cyno, Baizhu is your perfect choice, because not only he can consistently heal your Cyno, but he can apply Dendro continuously no matter where your Cyno is, and give some level of protection with his shield. If you have Nilou and Kokomi, you should pull for Nahida, because those 3 with Dendro MC or Koli can make a great Superbloom team using Kokomi as the main driver. If you have Nilou, but don't have or don't like Kokomi, you can pull for Baizhu, and with Xingqiu or Yelan, and Dendro MC or Kole, you can make Nilou as your main DPS in a Superbloom team. Or if you happen to get Kaveh while pulling for Baizhu, you can make Kaveh as the main DPS instead, in your Nilou Baizhu team comp. And if you already have Nahida, you should pull for Baizhu, because with both Baizhu and Nahida, you can make a lot of great Super Dendro team comps as I've mentioned in the previous chapter. You can even separate them into two powerful Dendro teams if you have to. The Dendro Team Comp variations are endless if you have both Baizhu and Nahida in your account. You can mix and match Baizhu, Nahida, and any two of Electro, Hydro, and Pyro combinations, and they all will do great. This is why in my previous Baizhu DPS calculation video I said that Baizhu is a must-pull, and this video is the complete explanation for that. So what do you guys think? What team comps are you going to use after pulling for Baizhu, Nilou, Kaveh, or Nahida? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear your favorite team comps there. Me personally, I'm going to pull for Baizhu and Kaveh in the patch 3.6 later, because I already own Nahida and Nilou, and I'll be sure to post a lot of videos with many team variations later. I've been leveling up my old characters such as Lisa and Chongyun, because I wanted to try as many Dendro team variations with Baizhu and Nahida in patch 3.6, so make sure to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out my next videos. I think that's all for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.
We can help.